It's June, and it's the last year of my 20s. Yay, that sucks. But to celebrate summer, not the last year, we're doing a merch final summer sunset and shame sale. There's a whole bunch of stuff over the past years of merchandise that we are finally cutting. We're done with it. We're gonna phase them all out. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in the pile of shame. Yes, I chose that name for obvious reasons, that we have little mini imperfections on over all the years that we are selling for 50% off. So if you'd like to get any of the items that are going completely away from the summer sunset or some really cheap merchandise on the shame sale, check them both out in the description. It's only for June, so you've only got like a week and change to get it done with, and it's gone. So you got a week. Also, if you are someone who lives internationally and you were like, gosh darn, those international shipping prices, a bunch of stuff got changed, and so they might be way, way, way better now. So check it out. Could be some good stuff. It's in the description. Both links are down there. Check them out. So in a flash of light and a ridiculous onstage arrival, Sam Lake appears at the Summer Games Fest. What is that hack doing? Advertising the brand new Alan Wake 2 DLC, Night Springs, a showcase of 3 brand new episodes to play through in a sort of what if style. Not canon at all, but fun little side stories, very much in the vein of the Twilight Zone, because that's what Night Springs has always been. They are also available right now. So as Sam Lake's biggest fan and hater, it's only right that I review these hack products immediately. So let's start with number 1.
A fan. The dictionary definition of the word is an enthusiast, a fervent devotee, an abbreviation of fanatic. What comes across to an outsider as a dangerous obsession or even madness is something entirely different from the point of view of the fan herself. What lengths would you go to save the object of your obsession in Night Springs? Tonight's cult classic episode, number 1 fan.
Episode 1 centers entirely around Rose and her obsession with Alan Wake.
Eyes like sunsets and a beard like mahogany-colored velvet.
Rose has had some serious character development over the games, the same way a building has character development after it suffered a terrorist attack. Whatever the Dark Presence did to her in Alan Wake 1 sure has had some lasting effects, as we have entered what amounts to full meet the pyro territory of delusion. Now, I'm fully aware that none of these episodes are technically canon and are just fun little spoofs, but I would find it rather naive to assume Rose does not see the world like this at all times.
Extreme circumstances call for extreme shotguns.
Each of the Night Springs missions tends to focus on a particular aspect of Alan Wake 2, both in their theming and gameplay, which is a neat touch. Rose's one is very heavily based in messing around with the game's combat and is the most straightforward of the bunch. You are on a journey to save your precious writer as his number 1 fan, and that involves murdering as many, quote, haters as possible. It also leads to some of the most jort-soiling dialogue I've heard all year.
Oh, don't you ever compare me to that worthless hack.
Now this should go without saying, but I'm going to do it anyway. There is no way in hell I had anything to do with this. Video games take forever to make, and they definitely already had us recorded or at minimum scripted before I made any of these videos. However, the mental flashbang that stunned my synapses after hearing that could not be understated. It's genuinely incredible, especially near the end when you hear the dialogue of the haters speak, and it's just attacks against Sam Lake the entire time. Caught, guilty.
Others look bad on purpose!
We're all being very rude.
It's wild how entertaining this tiny little 45-minute long episode is, because it combines all of the lovely parts of Alan Wake 2's visceral combat without any of the annoying bits like the bad boss fights or crappy inventory management. It's just, here's a ton of ammo. Listen to Rose yell, "Ooh, pistachios," while killing untold amounts of enemies. Her demeanor is just so at odds with the dark, depressing world that Alan Wake tends to be stuck in, and that juxtaposition adds a lot to it.
You're rude, you have no manners, your too cool to care attitude is attractive initially, but drives people away after they realize you're emotionally incapable of letting your walls down to reveal that you are a vulnerable human being just like everybody else. You are trying way too hard with that outfit.
Oh, stop! I don't like being seen!
It's great fun, and also might contain the best single line in a video game of all time.
Tonight's dreamlike episode, North Star.
It's pretty wild to be playing as Jesse in Alan Wake 2 like this, even if it's not in established canon. Old school Jesse, you know? Before she was able to cause the heat death of the universe by throwing rocks. We're talking classic, looking for Dylan with Polaris in her head Jesse. And what a great feeling it is. I can't believe playing as Jesse is making me nostalgic for a game I played under a year ago and came out only 5 years ago. However, here, where Rose's chapter is all about the combat of Alan Wake, Jesse's is more centered around the puzzle solving, or at least all the little aspects you can do in the gameplay that revolve around puzzles. All the enemies are the funny Shadow the Hedgehog style ones from Alan's New York Dark Place section, so for the most part you are solving the mystery of where the hell is Dylan. This isn't to say there's no combat, however. In order to properly remind you that you are playing as throw rocks at the problem Jesse, they have made sure to give you the proper sidearm to accurately represent control gameplay, equipped with the highly desired setting Fullest Auto. Our story here is that Coffee World has been the source of a fanatical cult, the cult of coffee. Even Tim is here warning us about the offer and its darkest roast. Turns out all of the shadow people are actually people who drank the coffee and have become coffee themselves. They are coffee-based entities, and the entire place is being taken over by more and more coffee cultists. Their beans so roasted, their brews so dark. The only way to save yourself is with the alien Polaris in your brain. And you might think I'm talking it up a bit too much, but see for yourself. God damn it.
Oh, come on!
I have.
I tried the coffee. I'm trusting you. Huh. That wasn't so.
Percolate! Become coffee! Beans!
Shit. There's definitely something wrong with this coffee.
When you start this episode, you assume it's going to take a more serious tone due to the difference in atmosphere and character. You'd be technically correct. The tone is different, but the genre remains the same. It's a comedy, or one might even say a roast. The violent kind. The kind where you might end up getting mugged. But I think this is one of those times where I really appreciate how much Remedy is able to get done with how small of a budget they have. You know, back in the day, it was pretty common for games to reuse areas to save on money, and when you think about it, almost all of the original Call of Duty maps were just campaign environments with arbitrary walls created to make it a multiplayer map. Being good at reusing assets, but twisting them just enough to make it different is a great way to make new feeling content while still being relatively low cost. Obviously with Rose's area, it's the main town given a funny pink filter and some new NPC and enemy interactions. In the case of Jesse's area, it's just Coffee World, but made twice as dark and doubling the caffeine content. The enemies are the same as in Alan's New York section, but they say different things instead of just repeating "wake," like they're playing I Spy at the back of a boat. And you know, that's fun. It's cool to see how they can utilize their environment in different ways and stick to some of their fun puzzle solving bits. There's even a little part where you need to do a bit of math to solve the correct roasting temperature of coffee. It's pretty neat. But honestly, out of all the things that this little DLC lets you do, it's so fun to play as Jesse again. I mean, it might not be the flying, mind controlling, I'm gonna save the world through the power of friendship and this rock I found style of Jesse. But it's really fun still. I was a bit harsh on Jessie's role in Control and some of her character stuff, but I enjoyed Control the most out of the entire Wakeverse game series. So its saving grace is the coffee cult stuff. But if we're looking for something a bit more bizarre, we only need to look at episode 3.
We join this lone operative, many versions of him in fact, as he chases his nemesis, a dangerous being known as the Master of Many Worlds. Across the multiverse, across the many versions of a city that is always the same, yet always different. In Night Springs. Tonight's reality-bending episode, Timebreaker.
The final episode of Night Springs stars our favorite subtle reference, Tim E. Breaker. And it was at this point that I realized we were seriously low on our Sam Lake you hack count. I mean, we had the voice lines in the first episode, but we were hack starved. A dried up Sam Lake, C- in hackonomics. Won't somebody, anybody, especially Sam Lake that hack, save us from this torment?
Was that okay? I mean, I can do more. I can do less. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, 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 yes! Go, white boy, go! Episode 3 has Tim as his actor version, Sean, which is the name of his real-life actor who plays him. He also refers to Sam Lake as Sam, who is the director of Poison Pill Entertainment. Poison Pill instead of Remedy. Evil Sam Lake be like, I shouldn't star in my own games. That isn't artistic. Horny Sam Lake be like, Alan Wank 2, the bright waterfalls in her pants. Holy shit. So, okay, basically, you play as Tim, who is Sean, but your character is Tim. And let me be honest, Sam was smoking the most aggressive doobie for this part. Tim is being thrown around by Mr. Door into other realities, but there are other versions of Tim, who are also Sean, that play Tim, who are dying in other realities, and Mr. Door is killing him in these realities, or at least leading to his death. So you are thrown around into various parts of Alan Wake 2's big map, being assailed by enemies while figuring out the weirdness in this reality and how to stop Mr. Door. This entire segment was also somewhat lost on me because it very specifically points to the world of Quantum Break, but in a legally distinct way because they don't own the property from Microsoft. Tim/Sean is chasing a girl who ends up being Jessie, but not really Jessie, but this version from this non-standard part of the episode, which isn't canon. But then Sam decided he wasn't quite ready for just coffee and took the fattest rip. So we've entered comic book mode and then decided to get extremely meta.
In one reality, we're not even real. Or as you say, characters in a video game.
And you think, okay, Sam, you're really getting all artsy now. He's thinking outside the box, but then he does it again. We might get the fuck. What the fuck? Bro is smoking that Cauldron Lake pack, the federal blunt of control. Alan fucking baked. Thomas zooted. This shit killed Polaris. Taking ganja got me tweaking, shitting, crying. The hiss ain't got shit this strong. You are a joint through time. Orange peel. Sam Lake, you hack. If you're going to put me through this, at least share with the goddamn class, will you?
I had to find Door.
Despite me joking like I was, I do have to admit something. If you watched my Alan Wake 2 video, you know that I actually wasn't as hot on the game as a lot of other people were. One of my list of complaints was that most of the time, weird artsy games tend to be on the shorter side for a reason, and Alan Wake 2 was far too long, especially if you're factoring in New Game Plus, to be a well-paced and overall enjoyable experience. Control was less weird overall, but used its time better. I felt felt as if the weirdness they had on display in the base game of Alan Wake 2 would serve in smaller, bite-sized pieces. I'm aware I'm in the minority with this opinion. Many people thought Alan Wake 2 was the best game of 2023. It was obviously Armored Core 6 Fire as a Rubicon, the best game of 2023. We're making it a Rubicon with this one, buddy. But I felt very happy to know that I know myself well enough because I enjoyed these 3 Night Spring episodes more than I enjoyed Alan Wake 2. I really liked these little pieces. It will only take you about 2.5 to 3 hours to complete all 3 of them. And I found myself having such an incredible time with each.
My accessories.
Holy Christ!
Everything.
All they did was ask for no pickles, okay? You don't need to kill them. Coffee! Jesse, we have to brew.
It's hard to tell if Sam's joking.
Same.
Pan-finish humor.
Yeah.
And a reputation of being a bit out there.
Uh-huh. My God.
My gun's hungry.
Shut the fuck up. First digit is half of the second, and the third digit is 1 less than before. It should be 487?
I think that worked.
Extremely rare Bricky math W. It's kind of giving me Ocean View Motel shenanigans, you know? It didn't, it's fine. Oh shit! No, never. You will regret this. Also, I was lying. Ha ha ha. God damn it. No! Alan Wake! Are those thermoses? Is he covered in thermoses?
More haters.
Also, it should go without saying that Remedy can write comedy really well. And what's even more impressive is that they can write different kinds of comedy well. Rose's episode is a clear-cut meme fest. Not this beach, this beach. Thank you. Thank you. But the Jesse Coffee World one was much more of a dry humor, played completely straight, yet still totally hilarious. All 3 episodes were very funny and didn't overstay their welcome at all. What I'm mainly trying to say here is that these smaller projects really fit the Remedy weirdness quite well, and I genuinely enjoyed myself from just an experience point of view more than I did in the base Alan Wake 2 game. I know it's a pretty nuclear opinion, but there's just something about a blood-smeared Rose yelling
Pistachios.
recreating the Vampire Diaries in Alan Wake that just put me in a fantastic mood. The creativity and intelligent reuse of the assets of Alan Wake 2 for this little experience here was great, and I had an absolute blast. Well, I know that Remedy games are not necessarily a AAA studio, you know? They are probably much more closer to AA, but they make games that look so AAA, especially with Control and Alan Wake 2. But seeing that level of artistic integrity, that level of weirdness in games that appear to be AAA, it's just stuff you don't really get. That's one thing I mentioned in the Alan Wake 2 video, is that despite me not being super hot on the game, I really appreciate its ability to exist. Remedy has made a game that is so high quality, but at the same time, so weird. I love that stuff. And Night Springs is just more of that. It's hilarious, it's completely batshit insane, and it's just got such fun little bits here, there, and everywhere with fun characters, and it's such like a Wake versus fan service thing. You know, when Mass Effect 3 came out and the Citadel DLC was out, and it's like the biggest fan service DLC that's ever been made, but it was so good for those reasons. This isn't quite that, but it kind of has that same feel. If you've played through all of the various games, you get so much out of it. Hell, even I didn't even get the full experience because I haven't played Quantum Break yet. But if you like these games, if you like Remedy's stuff and Sam Lake That Hack's brand of entertainment, it's just so fun. It's so for you. This is an Alan Wake's fan DLC, and it's a great time. Whether or not it's worth the money for you is generally whether or not you like Alan Wake in the Remedy games. If you do, then absolutely, or you probably already bought it. It's short and, you know, not cheap for what it is, but I had a great time, and I consider those 2.5 to 3 hours to be very quality hours as opposed to quantity. Check it out on all the various platforms, that whole thing. Apparently there's one more DLC for Alan Wake 2 coming out. You could see it when you're on the menus. And after that, I think we got Control 2, which, if you just see like the green screen, like it looks like I'm doing absolutely nothing. There's no sound effect, there's no nothing. But then when editors work their magic and it's just like Jesse, the rock-throwing goddess. Great stuff. Control 2. Anyway, thank you for watching very, very much. We got a couple things coming up soon. Elden Ring DLC being one of them. Woo! I'll see you later. 18 inches of Mesmer the Impaler.
Come on. Obviously, you're a skater.